Talks.
So we are back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Yes.
Hello, hello. Well, first of all, hello, Freddy. Okay, because I don't know if anybody's watching us.
Does it matter?
But if at some point somebody's watching this show, hello, user, hello, viewer. How are you?
Thank you for being here with us, for having fun with us. That's the whole point.
Thank you for watching at first place. I guess it's not easy for everyone to listen to us, but anyways, we what can we do? And second of all, remember, people, if if some of you share, comment, like, and subscribe. So, Freddie, what are we talking about today? Why that look?
Part two, right? We're continuing our conversation from last week. We're resuming that topic.
Part two, Denis Lavant acting as Monsieur Oscar at Holy Mother's.
We
Amazing.
have discussed the first two scenes, you could call it.
The first
Section
two and three characters, because actually there are multiple scenes.
characters. Yeah, okay. But three, I remember. Yes, three. Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes. And well, to freshen up a bit about that, we discussed the way this guy leaves home and starts actually living home with a character uh playing, getting into this limousine in which he eventually changes from one character to another. Okay, we actually saw how this character uh out of nothing is able to take other characters that actually travel in time. Okay, they travel to the future, they travel to the past, they make a whole kind of path of cinema trends. Okay, and some
When you
perspectives.
say travel in time, can you clarify?
Yes. For example, scene two, whenever he makes a futuristic scene, okay, with another character in order to, through
So
digital
so
equipment.
they bring the viewer into the
Exactly.
future. They don't really travel to the future. I'm like, what? It's this girl watched a different movie that I watched. Okay. Yeah,
I
the
know what
experience
I'm
for the
talking
viewer.
about.
Okay, yeah, the viewer for the experience for the viewer. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Can I continue? Thank you. And then he gets into this completely different character, the one about the vagabond on the street. Okay, actually, it gives a, the I don't know if you, Freddie, but I felt like it was a jump from one uh radical type of character to another radical type of character, and the way cinema has portrayed these type of characters on their movies. Okay, now what's next?
Uh well, we finished that one. Then what's the next character he portrays? Because I remember you're the one who has the freshest memory on this. The secret viewers, she had not finished watching the movie again. She had already watched it before, but yeah, that's why we stopped there. So, what was next?
Then there is this other character that appears to leave this limousine, kind of making us understand that he's out of acting and he's living his normal life. But as a matter of fact, is another character picking his daughter at a party. Remember?
Yeah, I remember now just because I mean Kylie Minogue. There's Kylie Minogue music in the apartment. I remember it was all over. I loved it.
You know,
Motion.
the fun thing about Kylie Minogue is that she doesn't even appear 5 complete minutes in the movie.
But that's the whole point. Again, she introduced me to this. I will never forget that. And she
Yeah.
makes sure people will remember it because even her music is used. But yeah, exactly. At first, you would think this man is actually um, like taking a break from his work. But yeah, you actually realize later down the line that, oh, okay, this is actually another character.
Yeah.
Um,
And you know, you can easily see kind of, I mean, have a look at the guy when he leaves the limousine, the way he looks. I mean, he's sweaty, he's like, he looks like tired, he looks like, you know, I finished work and now I'm on.
like a regular working father. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So in a way, it's a very cool trick to, you know, to cheat on the viewer and say, huh, this is not himself uh, on his real life, you know?
And no, and even worse, it the scene comes across as very genuine. Like you can tell the actor is really putting some raw emotion into it because he even if he's acting, he does care for the I mean the daughter. So at the same time, is wow, okay, you had me fooled. I actually thought this was your daughter, and then all of a sudden, oh, all's done. Bye. Okay.
Exactly. But again, what's the relevance of these character in particular?
That's actually why I like this particular setup for this movie. I had not really thought necessarily of the relevance of every character portrayed for the global sense of the movie. I had thought of it for a few of them, but for this one in particular, I had not. To me, is if I mean, and this is an honest improvised answer just now. To me, is the fact that he's still human. He does have this emotion, even if he doesn't know where to, because it's a reminder this is his job. So maybe he shouldn't necessarily care, but at the same time, he's still human. So he still empathizes with
Yeah,
what's around him.
exactly, exactly. I think one of the main issues of this particular scene is the script, you know, and the way he speaks to his daughter and the way he treats the situation with his daughter, you know, because actually his daughter was feeling a little bit of uncomfortable in this party because she wanted to pretend to be someone she actually wasn't, and she ends up.
The irony.
Exactly. You know, she ends up really sad and everything. And, you know, actually, that goodbye part in which he says, I mean, the worst thing that can ever happen to you is your normality. I mean, I'm not saying that literally, but actually, that's what you perfectly understand on his words. So I was like, wow,
Yeah,
this
exactly. Like becoming one more of the bunch.
exactly.
Mhm. Yeah, he doesn't explicitly say it, but yeah, just becoming one more. So embrace your uniqueness, pretty much.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, yes. Now, after this scene, there's a, you know, in on the next one, I really thought, okay, what the hell?
Was this a musical interlude?
Yes,
Look, exactly. That I loved it because that's when I realized for sure it's like, Freddie, you're taking this too seriously.
exactly. And suddenly,
Because I was like, oh, but who's this? Who's that? Whatever. And then this the music interlude, like the musical interlude, like, oh, okay, this is just going places.
in the I mean, everything goes like in the middle of nowhere. Okay. So he goes to the limousine. He actually takes off some of his clothes and I don't know, he's got only his pants because he's actually bare feet and no t-shirt and starts playing the accordion, which
Accordion. Mhm.
I don't know if he plays, if he actually really plays or
Again, I'm no specialist on this. I'm just a regular viewer, but I think he was in fact playing. Just and I'm willing to bet on this just because he's been so good and across the board.
all
He
right.
was so committed to every character that
Yes.
to me it's like, of course, I imagine the guy just practicing is like, are you mad? Of course I'm gonna learn how to play this just for this
Exactly.
one scene.
Exactly. Or maybe he has played, the
Oh,
accordion.
exactly. Or maybe he's just
He made
maybe
me
he picked up
believe that. I mean, I was like,
he
wow.
maybe he just grabbed an instrument that he knew he could play and like, you know what, I'm gonna have fun with it. That could also be it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me about watching people performing, especially on theaters. When they actually have the chance to play instruments and turn into this multidisciplinary artist that knows how to do everything, okay? Or for example, Lady Gaga type, like she plays all sorts of instruments. She makes theater on her stage. She makes, like, I don't know, I mean, it's the fact that you can love art in such a way that you can transform into whatever you're asked to, it makes you unique, you know?
Yeah. No, and the fact that ironically, I was watching a podcast that briefly touched on this. They said something about, hey, to have fun, and you don't have to do something just because you're good at it. If you're not good at it, you can still do it and enjoy it. So to me, this movie, or at least this particular section, but all of it, I think it's not about him being great at every scene, but he's trying a range of emotions throughout the entire movie, a range of skills. And to me, he just succeeds because he's committed, not necessarily because he's fantastic. I do think he's fantastic,
Yes.
but maybe I perceive him as fantastic because you can tell he's into it. It's like, wow, okay, I don't think I would ever be capable of doing all of that. Maybe I could, I don't know, if I decided to, maybe one of the characters, I could barely pull it off. But it came so natural to him, all of it. And well, I mean, Marla, you and I think we're both very critical in general. We love criticizing shit. And for us to give him so much credit just out of nowhere because
We
we
listen
didn't know the
and
actor.
judge.
Exactly. We didn't know the actor before. This is pretty much the first. I think I've watched other movies from him, but this is the one I remember him for,
Yeah.
and he bought me since the very first watch. I'm like,
Yeah.
this guy is amazing. So
No, I could easily say, okay, whatever movie this guy is in, of course I'm gonna
I'm
watch
gonna
it.
watch it regardless. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
But
yes,
you and I are the same when it comes to picking movies. We don't care about a trailer. We don't really care about the story beforehand. We
exactly.
just see one actor we like, maybe one director, one writer, and oh, we're
Exactly.
gonna watch that. What is it about? I don't know. I don't
I
care.
have
I'll
no
watch it.
idea. Oh, how
Yeah.
about the critics?
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I'll watch it. I'll have my own. I'll make my own opinion
Exactly.
after I watch it.
And even if somebody comes and spoils the movie, I'm gonna watch it anyways. You see?
Yeah.
As simple as that. Okay, you can have your opinion. Perfect. But I will
That's the other
create
thing.
mine.
Exactly. Spoilers tend to be, people don't really tend to give you the facts. They tend to give you their version. It's
Exactly.
already an opinion, so I want to watch it and
Just
make
like
my own
we're
opinion.
doing right now.
Exactly. You know, most likely people won't like this movie. It's very out there, but we love it, so we're gonna talk about it, and you're gonna hear it, and you're gonna love it.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I love that mug. I need a mug, Freddie. You should send me a mug.
Thank
Just
you.
as sarcastic as that one. Okay, you should call your friend. Hey, where do you buy it?
But okay, so yes, this one act in the movie, it's just to break the mood. The director is pretty much saying, yes, we just came from this very intense section, very emotionally loaded, and you know what? I just want to break it. I just want to have fun. There
Exactly.
doesn't have to be any continuity in
And
the emotional range. So it's like
exactly.
I'm breaking it very sharply, just
And
and
meanwhile, they are having this music jam all over the streets. You're still thinking about those words this father told his daughter.
right, because actually the music is fun, but at the same time there's some undertone, a very I don't know if deep, but you're reflecting. It makes you reflect because again you were just given so much information loaded with emotionally loaded that you're still processing it. So that this director just knew what he was doing across the board. So yes, we went into this. It lightened the mood. You're ready, not to a new chapter, but clearly the message is chill, have fun, just enjoy it. What
Yeah.
comes next?
Next comes the this old guy arriving to the hotel and dying.
Isn't it the restaurant?
No, I don't know.
Remember, there is one where he goes and tries to. Uh, Again, we cannot spoil here. We
Yeah,
cannot
but
spoil here.
actually, no, no, no,
I don't
no.
remember the order. I'm being honest. I know that will happen, but I think that happens later. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, but no. First of all, there's this guy who dies in the hotel, and then that one, the restaurant. And no.
I think it's
Hold
backwards, but it doesn't matter. Let's do it in that order.
Exactly. You're
It
gonna
doesn't
watch it
matter. Okay.
anyways and
So
watch
the
the order.
hotel. Okay. So he goes to the hotel. This person is in his last moments, and I want to talk about this one. This I love this scene. This is one of my favorite scenes. Um, Look, this scene is extremely relevant because once again we come from having broken the mood a little bit. It's now lighter, um, and then he goes into this hotel room with this person. Last moments in bed, about to pass, and then uh, his daughter, like again, that again, remember, we already know what he does. His job is to portray a character in someone else's life. So a girl comes in from the conversation, you gather, oh, okay, it's his daughter or family. Don't really recall. The person passes away. There is very solemn moment right there. And all of a sudden, they just start casually talking like two co-workers. That is the key. It's like, oh, do you remember this? I didn't know you were gonna be here. Blah blah blah. And the body of the deceased person is still in bed. Like, oh wow, that's the first time you see. Oh, of course, there might be others. It's not just him. It's
Ah,
not just one.
and
So
that's
that's
where
when the movie really clicked to me. That exact
exactly.
moment. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, of course, motors. It's in the name. Holy motors. There is more than one engine, more than one motor. There it is. The movie is very explicit, but again, you need to do some not thinking, but you need to be paying attention because some people may just be lost at this point and they just don't get it. But yeah, that's when you realize, wow, you don't you had already thought maybe there is somebody pretending to play a role in your life, but there can be multiple, and so
Exactly.
that
And
makes you think,
there's when you start asking yourself.
aha,
So they
is
were
my life
all
genuine?
playing.
Are people around me genuine? That's the question that's
Exactly.
that's called right here in this moment. It's my life, my day to day genuine. And let's face it, and this is true, viewer. You don't know. You can only know if you are genuine because those around you, you don't know. You only know what they show you.
And
So
they can tell you whatever.
Yes, but that's also the beauty of it. It's up to you to determine whether something is genuine or not. So that's the beauty. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
Maria Laura and I clearly at this point we already know we are genuine with each other. So that's exactly why we've
And
been.
again, that's a very interesting and mature thing. A person decides what to tell and how to portray him or herself in society, but the others decide what to believe,
What to believe.
you
Yeah,
know, and what to and how the meaning of this social interaction conveys. As simple as that. So it would be pretty mature from all of us to say, well, that's what I interpreted, okay? And again, it no matter what the situation is, always recognize and make use of your responsibility on situations, okay? As simple as that. So
yeah, yeah,
my-
yeah.
both parts, it's a 50-50 thing, you know?
Well, but that's also part of it. Some people don't are not this aware. First, self-aware, and second, aware of are the others actually being genuine.
Exactly.
Which is I will granted it's not something that everybody thinks about, but I know I'm always thinking about it. Like I gravitate to people that I sense are genuine.
Exactly.
That to me is very important. So
Yeah.
that's why this scene in particular just called me immediately. It's like, wow, this is a very uh full of reflection for me. If I remember correctly, the first time I watched it, I had to pause it and just, okay, this is recontextualizing the entire movie, but at the same time is some introspection. So easily the peak of the movie. And this movie is filled with peaks, but this is the highest one, in my opinion.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes,
It's
this is
very relevant. Hmm.
yes, it is. It is. And this is the biggest lesson the movie will give you for sure.
Yeah.
Uh
Even if you don't pay attention, too much attention, and you let this part of the movie go, at the end of the movie with, all of the limousines talking, you say, ah, okay. This is part of a whole machine, but
I literally, yeah, but that's the thing. Some people will just say that and they're still uh they will not see themselves reflected in the movie at all. They will just see it as an story, as an wow, okay. I'm not understanding the story as in something completely
yeah.
not related to you, when quite the opposite. The
You,
movie is
the
really
viewer, the viewer, if you have a friend that tells you something like that, you just tell that friend to get back to kindergarten and start all over. All right? As simple as
no, but let's face it. Okay, so this movie right here is calling for some introspection, from really deep analysis, different to the previous segments. Again, every scene, every character brings something to the table. So this is, I think, the very meaning of the movie. This is the purpose. This is the main message, because that's
Exactly.
what you end up concluding across the entire movie. So, okay, let's leave it there because I also want to continue the conversation.
But that's the whole thing. It doesn't end up here. Okay? There is more. And there is a very moved scene with this one in the restaurant. Where does that come from? I mean,
That's possibly why I don't necessarily like I haven't really assigned to each character their relevance, because for that one I don't really see it, beyond the fact that, okay, uh very briefly put, there is an assassination attempt.
mhm,
The main character, our main actor, he is the assassinator. Again, we cannot say the actual word. But okay, he goes and he does his thing, and he's also uh again, he gets a shot from somebody, and he also apparently, probably you'll have to bleep this, but he also passes away in the moment. I don't want to use the word, but minutes later, he's in the car again, just removing the makeup and whatnot. So it's like, oh,
Does he have a twin?
exactly. I don't know. To me, another layer. It's like, well, and the word holy. This is, you could say it's to explain this particular,
Exactly.
uh, or to showcase it somehow. I think it's a very imaginative way of saying, hey, I never said he was human.
Exactly.
And
It's holy. It doesn't have to be logical.
exactly, it can be immortal. And it likely is, because we see it. There was supposed to be an assassination, and yet he didn't. He's back to life and just removing the makeup and everything. Next gig, I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, I like it.
No, I guess the only relevance of these for me actually,
Uh-huh.
it's the fact that there was an assassination and people were like, oh, and they didn't do
Anything. Okay.
anything else.
Well,
So
I mean, isn't
that's
that
exactly. I mean, it happened to me in the subway 3 days ago. So again,
everybody? Marlona, did you see it? Like, okay, it could be a criticism. I don't think that's the main point, but it could be taken as such. Criticism to modern society. But again, context. This movie was from what year? 2000, eight,
I guess,
nine,
I
one
guess,
of the two.
eight.
But nowadays, when something like that happens, what do you do first?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Exactly. So you don't really do anything. People are not helping.
exactly.
You're just recording it, live streaming it. So
Exactly.
it could also be criticism to this, because Marlora has a really good point. There was no action from
It's
anybody.
exactly
Everybody was
how,
horrified, but
yeah,
okay.
it's exactly how people are. I mean, and believe me, this is true. I mean, 3 days ago in the subway, there was these people who were getting out of the subway. It was a very crowded station, and the father of the woman, who is a very is a man on his ages. It's an old man and
An elder man.
an
Mhm.
elder man, and he couldn't get out, so she started to make this scandal. Hey, my father is here and all that, and suddenly I see people, trying to open the doors of the subway into a very brutal and very noisy scene. All I did was to turn to the alarm button and press it, and the doors opened. Nobody said thank you, nobody said anything. It passed. And probably those people forgot about this 2 minutes after. The only one remembering the whole thing, it's me, just because. But I was like,
Let it be
oh,
clear. She remembers it because they didn't thank her. This is what she's saying. She's pissed. Where people thank me for what I
I
did.
saved you.
I this and she's not really criticizing society. She's just pissed that she didn't get her flowers.
No, I mean, but if you take some time to just, 2 or 3 seconds to analyze the situation, all that scandal would have been avoided if you press the button to open the door.
Well, but
Simple
okay.
as
This
that.
is this is uh the autistic us speaking, just saying, why are you dumb people not doing the logical thing and just do this? I get it. But
Exactly.
remember, and I'm not justifying it, but what I'm saying is these people acted from an emotional standpoint. They just reacted. They didn't really think what could have been done.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, you were right. Of course,
So that's perfectly this thing, like, oh, he's dead. Oh. That's it. That's it.
well, but okay,
People
I,
don't
I
do
will I will
more.
defend this. It My criticism in that scene is the fact that they didn't try to check on him. They just freaked out.
They just
in their
freaked
case,
out.
they did try to help. They just weren't it doing the best way possible. They were,
That's how it is.
but they did try to help. So your example, I don't think it's necessarily the best because they did try to help. They were useless, but they did try. So
What
better than what we
comes
thought they have.
next after that weird scene on the guy killing himself in the
Okay,
middle of
we're relying on our memory. So if we're missing something, just let us know in the comments.
please?
But it uh, we think the next character is when finally my idol Kylie Minogue shows up into the movie, and and, and I'll say it. As much as I love her, I think they just wanted to give him some personal interest, to show that even though he's an actor, there's still some personal uh, business to him throughout the entire thing. Like he still has something. It's not just his work. It's he's also
Exactly.
got layers. Because even though they were playing characters, there
They
was
were
an
both at a free moment, you know?
yeah. Oh, and exactly, they were both at a free moment.
Uh-huh.
However, you also know, oh well, yeah, because she had to play the character. She was the one who, oh, I need to jump here at
Exactly.
the end. So very briefly put, um, yes, both are taking a break. They meet up. They start talking. There is a short musical. Of course, it's Kylie Minogue. They wanted to use her talent.
Of
So, of
course.
course, there was going to be one. And at this point, this movie can do whatever, and you shouldn't be questioning it. So, I'll, again, it doesn't make sense. And that's exactly why it makes sense. So, yeah, they start singing about love. They love each other. The thing is, of course, they cannot be together because of their job.
Mhm.
If I remember correctly, that was pretty much the reason why. And at the end, again, she has a a job to do, which is why she jumps from the ceiling of the building. Um, it's it hurts you in the sense that you as a viewer relate to our main actor,
Mhm.
so you know, okay, he clearly cannot. They cannot be together because of the restrictions that come with the job.
Exactly.
Uh, but at the same time, it's acting, so you do know she will be alive later, so they could meet up at some other time. Because and this is why I question also this scene. Like maybe they're acting for each other because it, yeah,
Exactly.
they both needed that release.
And he
That's what.
desperates, you know, he desperates when he enters the limousine and he starts crying and all that. So you believe that at some point, I mean, was she really acting? Did she really die? You know? So
Yes, exactly. We've been talking about genuine, being genuine.
yes.
Maybe she was in fact genuine and she just decided to stop playing a character and she actually did it. And that was the end of it for her, at least. And
Okay.
you could believe that from his reaction because he's not working. He's in the limousine, which I think we can consider the safe spot where reality actually happens. So yes, I agree with that.
He was spontaneously crying
He
within
was
the limousine.
spontaneously crying, and she spontaneously said, I want to end this. I don't like where this is going, and I'm gonna end it, period. Because that's the other thing, that this job, how do you get this job? Possibly you were born for it, you were assigned the role, you don't
Exactly.
necessarily like it. So and the one way she thought she would be freed from it was, okay, just jumping and getting rid of everything. We don't know.
Just
And
like life itself, you know, it's like, why is this happening to me? You know, so
and again, given the circumstances, and again, we're not really judging that part, but rather how it makes the characters feel. And in the context of the movie and being genuine, I do think this is possibly the one scene that's genuine, for the main actor, as a very strong emotion for his character, not the characters he's playing in the movie. So
okay.
I love it. And again, she could do no wrong. I just loved it. I was waiting the entire movie. I remember like, this lady, she's supposed to be acting it and she doesn't show up. And then the last 5 minutes, like, oh, there she is.
There
Perfect.
she is.
Oh yes, that happens. That I think that's the role of that segment. It's not very harmless. I would say there is no real risk for the movie at this point. It was just giving us some more uh, perspective on the main character.
Mhm.
And then after this, you two things happen that, and this is already the conclusion of the movie. They happen very quickly. First, the lady in the limousine, which there is another layer, and I will mention it later. Uh, the lady in the limousine, you could tell she likes him, the driver. She cares for him. She cares for
He
him.
cares a lot, you know.
Yes, exactly. So I think there is some romance there. It's just not
I don't
reachable.
know, maybe a conflict of interests, you know. They're
It's not
working together, so they can't
explored.
be.
It's not explored, but clearly she cares for him.
Yeah,
So she takes him back to the original house. No, no, it was a different house.
a different house. Yes.
The end
Pretty
of the
similar to the very first one, but not the same.
exactly no, and the whole thing is it's even irrelevant if it's the same house or not because there are gorillas. His family, there are gorillas in the apartment. So it's like, what? What is this? So,
And
and
that's the irony of it all, you know?
again, this is his life supposedly because the movie makes it clear this is the end of the shift. You're going back home to rest. And
Exactly.
yet he goes to this house with gorillas. So was the where we started watching the movie another gig? Is this another gig? What's the reality? We don't know. And that's exactly
Exactly.
where the movie wants to leave it at.
And that shiny background they had, you know, and they end up looking through the window, you know, baby gorilla and spouse gorillas.
It makes no sense. I love it. That is exactly that's also the point is don't take it too seriously. It's a movie
Exactly.
for you to enjoy it. And yes, it's got peak and valleys, emotional peak and valleys, but that's the whole point. I do think that's it's
And,
to me
and
a good movie.
absolutely everything, whether it is drama, whether it is comedy, whether it is
Yes,
absurdity.
it has a little bit of everything. And most
Exactly.
importantly, and I think this is a goal of any good movie, it makes you feel something. It really tries to make you feel something. So even if each segment individually doesn't hit the target, I think
Exactly.
the movie also like if at least you liked one, I made it work because it
On
tries
it,
a lot of things.
if you got highly confused, that's something, you know?
That's also that could also be part of it. Exactly. The main goal of the movie is also making you think. So if you didn't get it, that's part of it. Okay, watch it again, see if you can make some sense of it. And if you don't, it's also fine. That's also part of art. If you don't understand it, maybe it's just not for you. Period.
Exactly.
But I do think the director
And
and the writer made really good efforts of let's try for different things, different palettes, so that at least like every viewer can identify with something.
exactly.
So again, it's just a very, very well made, executed movie. It has everything you can imagine, including our baby girl just showing it has everything.
Baby
Uh,
girl, she is the queen of this show.
she is. I agree. I'll say that.
Oh,
Uh,
look, she's grabbing my microphone.
so he's dropped off at the house with the
Mhm,
gorillas,
mhm.
and then after that, you would think this might be the end of the movie. However, it's not. There's still more.
Uh-uh.
The lady, the driver, uh, she goes back to drop off the limousine. to a garage, a warehouse, a storage warehouse.
A warehouse,
And
exactly.
to see all of the different limousines going back. So it's, oh, okay, they confirm Holy Motors. There is multiple. You in the movie, you don't really get to see any other driver.
Mhm.
The other actors, we know Kylie Minogue's character was one. We know the lady at the guy that was passing away. We also know that she's another worker, but the point of the movie is not showing you other workers. It's just confirming there are others. There are other drivers. This is a well-oiled machine making
Mhm.
life happen for some. And okay, she drops off the limousine, our main driver, and then she just leaves. The warehouse is left empty, and the movie just decides again. You know what? I'm gonna have fun with this.
Oh,
What happened?
you thought the gorillas were absurd. No.
No, the movie was not done yet. What happens, Marla? Please tell us.
There's another level of absurdity when these limousines start talking and complaining about their jobs.
It's just absurd, absurd. It's like levels
And just
constantly.
some of them, because actually they were supposed to be sleeping, so the other limousines are
The
like
others start like
chewing.
shooing them. Yes, just shut up. It was. I remember watching that. It's like, wow, okay, this is just sending me. They want you not to make sense of it because
Exactly.
he's
Yeah.
having fun. That's another thing. This movie's just plain fun. I don't know. I just love it. It's so much
And
fun.
this takes us back to the very, very first, in this case, scene. The director of the movie wakes up in what you can call a very surrealistic room, getting into a cinema where everyone's asleep, you know,
I've forgotten about that. Yes.
with his dog, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then he starts watching all this movie about this Monsieur Oscar. Okay. So, again, what is this guy trying to tell you? You're the one to figure out.
You
Okay.
are the one to decide. Exactly. That's also the ultimate message of the movie. You make of the movie whatever you want to make it.
Exactly.
That's the very beauty of it. It very much just said whatever you think, it's
It's
right.
fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine for me. Just say it. As long as you say it. I think that's the two conditions. Watch it and then just express it. Because if you don't express your point of view, what are you doing? So
You're not feeling anything,
you're not feeling anything yet.
just like those people sleeping at a movie
The
at a
movie,
cinema.
you're just at the receiving end, but there is no action from you. Yes, this is very artistic in that aspect. It really expects the viewer to get an opinion, to make an opinion based on the
Exactly.
movie.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason why I don't know how you pronounce it, but Leos Carax, it's his name. Uh,
I think it's
let me.
Caron, but hold on, let me. I
I
don't remember the
pronounce
name
it,
right now.
but sorry about my French, but I think
Mhm.
it's Leos Carax, or I don't
Hold
know,
on.
Leo Cara.
Ah, but I have the
As a matter,
movie here.
as a
I don't
matter
know what
of
I'm doing.
fact,
Hold
this
on, I
is.
have it here.
Oh, we
Have
have
the
a
DVD, yes, of
character in
course.
this show. Show us, show us.
Where is it? I know I have it. Uh, I had to buy it. I'm such a huge fan of this movie. Ah, here it is.
Well, but Oh my God, you have you have the DVD. Yes.
Leo
Leo
Cara.
Carax.
Leo Cara. Leo.
Leo Carax.
Leo Cara.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, well, after having this bunch of time figuring out the pronunciation of this huge director, That's another point, okay? And that's what we've been talking about. If Leo Cara, has made such a great movie, and that was the very first one I saw from him, I would say, wow, this guy deserves all of the chances with me, you know? All of the chances, no matter what. I know
But
he's
that
got a very good
it,
point.
and I will make a point here that doesn't necessarily go with my opinion, but arguably, this movie makes a point of give a chance to any movie from any director, period. Because unless you've watched it, you don't really know what you're saying.
Exactly.
At any point, any director could say, even the most commercial director, at any point, they can just say, you know what, I want to do something different. So you don't know unless, okay, if it's part of a franchise, it's different. But if you just see a random name from a director you already know, maybe, oh, okay, he changed direction, he's trying something different. But I say it's the whole point of interact with the art and then judge it. Don't do it with preconceived ideas. So
Exactly.
it goes
Don't
to the
watch
very fabric.
reviews. Don't
It goes
watch
to the very fabric of what art is. Just
don't watch the 5 stars,
exactly. That
it's
doesn't matter.
just
Those are
that
people's opinions.
commercial level.
Yeah,
So
it is the same with this. Maybe we love the movie, but to me, the accomplishment or the main intent of this whole podcast is to get you, the viewer, to watch different things you haven't watched. You don't have to like it. I
and
hope you do, but
exactly,
if you don't like it, it's fine. But you watched it and you got your own opinion of it,
exactly.
and that's what I care about.
Just like us, we are opinionated, period. Okay? So
Very.
simple as that.
If you haven't noticed.
Really?
Well,
Okay, so
very quickly, then this is some probably you didn't know, but the driver of the movie, she's actually a very famous French actress. And you know the mask she wears while she's driving? At first, she's wearing a mask.
yes.
That mask is from another movie, a horror movie from 1960, a French movie. The movie, well, you cannot see it. The movie's name is Eyes Without a Face, and she wears that exact mask in that movie. So that is another layer. The the director is like, no, I want you wearing that mask, calling to that movie for
Wow.
no reason, because I don't think there is any reason. I remember I watched the movie then. I may need to watch it again just to try to see if there is an actual connection, because she might be portraying the same character. That's where it might be going. But at the
Maybe.
same time, it's some homework. In my opinion, the movie even leaves some homework to you, because I'm sure in France, when they watched it, the mostly old people saw it and, oh, look at this lady with this mask. I've seen this somewhere. And then, oh, yes, I did in a horror movie. And then the new generation is like, oh, is this a thing? Yes, watch it.
It
So
is
it
the
even gives you some,
reference.
it is yes, it's a good callback, and it has no reason to exist. And yes, the director is like, I wanted reference because it's not one of his movies. So it's like, you know what? Let's do it. I don't care.
And
Yeah,
there's where I invite you, the viewer, to also elaborate your own references, okay? In whatever piece of art you find, maybe a book, maybe a sculpture, maybe a movie, okay? Connect one point with the other, because at some point, all of this is telling us something, is giving us reference about a past situation, a past context, or maybe it's providing a close idea about the future, okay? But it's a message, and messages are there to be listened to.
read, heard, read,
Exactly.
enjoyed. Yeah, and that's the ultimate intent of any piece of art. May it be a book, may it be a song, maybe a movie, a video game, a drawing. Is for it, all of them carry a message. You whether like the message, whether you don't understand it,
whether you ignore it,
you ignore it a lot. Exactly. Most people just choose to ignore it, but there is a message. Every piece of art has a message, and it's you, for the viewer, the receiver, to interpret it. You don't have to, but it's there. So,
that's
Marilyn,
right.
when are we going to start teaching in a university? We're ready.
Well, boy,
We're ready.
I hope the director of Harvard is watching this because otherwise we don't have any tenants. Maybe.
Well, people, we're gonna leave it here because
Exactly.
clearly we're enjoying.
Remember?
We could talk about this forever, but yeah, we're gonna leave it here.
Exactly.
Watch, like, subscribe, share. Let us know your thoughts. We
Yeah,
really
please
hope you watch
share.
and just watch it for the enjoyment. Do
Yes.
it for fun. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just watch it. If you don't like it, tell us why you didn't like it. We also want to hear it. That's
That,
also valid.
yes, that's right. Goodbye, people.
Thanks for watching. Go Movie Talks.